Hello, it's Chad Traveler again. I want to talk about art today, specifically my personal journey as an artist. Um, so, um, yeah, I did mention that in my intro. I'm kind of an artist, more of a hobbyist than an actual professional or anything. And I wouldn't say that I'm particularly good at it, but it's been my passion for, well, since my early childhood, I guess, as it often starts with artists. We do tend to start pretty early at times, though not all of us usually carry on or continue with with it in general. Like a lot of people tend to abandon art as such. So um, for me, it started from being like just scribbling stick figures and just random scenes, random characters, superheroes, and things like that. When I was little, even like before school, I used to draw my own little like comic books and these kind of like notebooks that was supposed to be meant for writing down text and things like that. So they had lines and all. Stories were nonsensical, poorly structured, and things like that. Of course, as being a child as it goes, you don't really realize what you're doing. You don't really understand these sort of intricacies when it comes to story building. It was like what 5, maybe. But I always enjoyed drawing and doodling. Did that a lot in my school during my school years in school notebooks to the chagrin and disagreement of my teachers. Don't stop doodling in the notebooks, they always say. But I still kept doing it regardless. I enjoyed my diaries and my various other anything that has had a surface to draw on a paper, a piece of paper, anything that I would draw it on. um, so hence, it's safe to say that one of my favorite classes during school was art classes, and they were pretty fun. I was always looking forward to them, but as I was drawing a lot back then as well, and I got quite sometimes an approval from my teachers. I grew, I guess, a bit arrogant. I thought that I don't need anything. My art is, I don't need anyone's advice or help or like uh, any like teaching or any new information input. and and me not noticing at the time, my art stagnated, and and I didn't really understand why people didn't particularly enjoy my art. They kept saying either they said that it is samey because I didn't really improve too much, and I tended to draw one of the same stuff constantly, like mostly like just characters, original characters that I just kind of didn't really attribute any particular meaning to them or anything like that. I drew a lot of fan art as well, but what's I guess impacted my confidence a lot is the fact that teachers were not very approving of my uh, choice of what I wanted to do in life and what I wanted, um, or like my kind of artistic desires and what I wanted to do in life. And when it came to art, people were not very approving. I wanted to be a comic artist. I wanted to be kind of like a mangaka back then because I really loved anime and manga, and I wanted to create stories of my own. Um, and eventually, I did manage to improve on that part, and I did drew my own comic book, one that is I'm most proud of, aside from all the other old ones that I've never or barely ever finished them. This one I tried to finish, and currently being my best work at the time. This is a bit of a painful memory to speak of, because it this in a sense it was a little bit traumatic to experience or hear. But my mother, well, this is something I never have ever told even anyone, even my friends, closest even my friends. But my mother, I guess she wanted to be supportive in a way about this. My tendency to draw in comic books. So she arranged a meeting with a writer of like of books, book writer through her contacts, and I got to meet this person. My experience with this person was not very good, I'd say. They kept on questioning about things that I was doing. I guess at the time as well, I was not doing well either. I was mentally not well due to various circumstances in life. Um, so this artist, this well, artist, I guess writer. I guess writing can be kind of an art in it on itself as well. Kept on questioning me about the characters and what's my motivation of making them to begin with, which I found a little strange at the time. I mean, why not? Well, am I projecting something onto those characters from myself? I guess I was very weak to criticism back then, to like questioning about what I wanted, because I was still kind of in that closed-minded, I guess, mindset of doing things because people kept on saying that this is kind of not my path, not something I'm supposed to be doing, and this is not a profitable way of living, and art can't really earn you money. That's what the mentality was back then. And yeah, the final words that I got to like hear from this person is that, why am I doing this? This is why this is not something that this is not something that I should be doing, and because I don't remember the precise wordings, but I'm paraphrasing. So I kind of said that in a way that this is not what I should be pursuing in life, that this is all pointless for me. And it hurt quite a bit to hear that. Um, I broke down and ran away from that place, and even left my comic book back there because I just stormed out basically, crying and walking around the street of the city and just bawling my eyes out. And it's really still painful to remember because it touched me quite deeply that they kind of like said that art is really something I'm not supposed to be pursuing, and because everybody just kept on saying that, and even when someone just like an artist already kind of in a way that they also say that I should not pursue it. After that, I entered a huge art block. I could not complete my comic book anymore. I could not draw anymore, anything. Even doodling was kind of like out of the question for me at the time. Drawing things in general after that became kind of like an on and off thing. Eventually managing to finish that comic book in the end. Like barely. And I'm not very satisfied how I ended it. Because I guess I just wasn't inspired well enough or didn't have the skill or knowledge or understanding how to properly do it. But otherwise, it's story wise, it's kind of complete. At least for what I wanted to tell back then. And well, did intend it to have a continuation, but never it happened, so probably will never will. I did try to do like various things. Like I tried to get back into art as well eventually. Mm. I got into like My Little Pony stuff back then as well. It was really popular, and that made me come back to art to some degree. And I started drawing pony characters from My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic, and I tried to replicate the style, the or add some of my own as well flair to it, and get better at it. And kept on practicing. My inspiration came back sort of again, and had various ideas and inspirations again at some point. But I did it again mostly just as a means of hobby and just kind of like an interest. Even one time, one of my drawings ended up being on the front page of um, Daily Equestria Daily. I think it was, yeah, the main website for the pony fandom community, which was nice. People here in the local community congratulated me on that as well. It felt nice, but good. And I participated in various art challenges that they did. But eventually that too kind of faded with time slowly again, and once again I entered in a sort of like a hiatus or art block again once again. Until I have encountered or got a bit more familiarized with the furry community. I knew about the existence of the furry community long before I even got into the internet. Um, like uh, like even in high school, which is quite a long time ago now. But I never actually paid too much attention to it, and I didn't really care too much about it back then. But I guess my fascination about drawing and art and anthropomorphic characters kind of went into this again. And I became interested in this community as well and their art, and I liked what they made, and through that I eventually encountered the Japanese kimono style, which is pretty much a combination between the furry characters and Japanese animation, and I really fell in love with that particular design. Since I am mostly like interested in like looking at and admiring well, the Japanese kimono style of drawings. So I wanted to try to replicate it with varying various degrees of success. I mean, I got a little better with time, but it felt like nothing really would be just going forward. It's just the same stuff usually. My medium was the same: pen and pencils, color pencils. Tried to scan them with my old scanner. That kind of always was a struggle to get to work. But then something happened when I was into all this community, and as well as like entered VR chat as well, where I could communicate with more people, which is a separate story to begin with about my journey, how I got here to begin with. So there was this one person, guess still maybe is a certain very special person, to be perfectly honest. Through them, I finally got the inspiration and motivation to try out digital art. I tried digital art before. Didn't really work out very well for me because I was kind of sucked at it and didn't understand anything how to properly do it. But through this certain person, um, through their drawings, through their art, um, their perseverance and love for that, for their art, for the craft, I got inspired as well. And I tried my hand into digital art. It was janky at first and it was hard and difficult and kind of uncomfortable as well, using a drawing tablet, which I borrowed from my sister, who is also an artist. I tried and kind of started getting into it. Slowly got into digital art, and I was and continued getting inspiration from from this certain specific person. And I slowly got a little better at it as well. Eventually, mm. But after a year as well, I felt like there's still something was lacking. I thought to myself, I want to be able to be someone for whom they would be proud of and look at my art and as well say that I like that I'm actually taking this seriously. Because I never actually took art in general like seriously, art education or learning about art, how to do things in art, in drawings and art. I never took it particularly seriously back then as well. So I wanted to get better. And I thought to myself, I think it might be time to actually learn how to do art properly. Instead of arrogantly believing that my art somehow is perfect and is already great, and I don't need any new input or information like I did have during my middle school and high school. I should approach art with an open mind, since I have changed quite a bit since then, and I've become much more open-minded since then, and willing to kind of receive new information, I suppose. Then, so after about a year after getting into digital art, approximately, I decided to finally. Might be the time when I should get into it more seriously, actually pay more attention to it, and and actually learn how to do it properly. So I watched various art tutorials, advices from artists of various calibers, both professional and hobby, and finally started to understand where I should start and how should I go about it and how should I learn. Starting with drawing simple shapes, spheres, triangles, cubes, cylinders, cones, and so on. And I started to feel like I'm actually improving and getting better at it. And followed by anatomy studies, I bought a multitude of sketchbooks, actual sketchbooks, instead of drawing in some notebooks from from school or just grid notebooks, gridded ones or lined notebooks that are supposed to be meant for writing things down, where the paper quality is definitely not to par. And I actually learned things. I followed the pathways of how I'm supposed to go about it and learn about things. Kept an open mind about techniques, about styles, about, and it came and became more clear about various things about art. And I fell more and more in love with it and more passionate about it. And then, hence as well, my ability to sketch and draw in both traditional and digital medium improved. I still have a long way to go. I still have things to learn, still things to practice. But I feel like I also want to continue to expand my range of what kind of artistic expressions I can make. Eventually, I want to get into both a little bit of animation, just to wet my feet a little bit in it. I want to engage a bit more in 3D modeling instead of just editing VR shot models, their textures, and adding just items through the Unity engine. I actually want to grab Blender and learn it, how to use it, and create things, sculpt things, make art, digital and digital art. And I feel motivated about it and inspired. Guess also kind of thanks to this certain special person, because they also tended to indulge themselves into that as well. They like it a lot as well, and they serve me as like an inspiration to me. It serves me as an inspiration. And I'm incredibly thankful to them. I'm incredibly thankful for them to reigniting my love and passion for art and opening my eyes and the possibilities of how I could make art. Paintings, sketches, graphics, even vector art, 3D modeling, eventually even like video editing. I know I'm not making particularly good videos currently, it's just vlogs, but I'm trying to learn about this stuff. Every time I actually do some filming, some air and VR shot, and every time when I try to like make these kind of vlog style videos and things like that, I feel like I'm getting better. I'm moving forward, and hopefully this might lead to something at least eventually. I don't know. I don't have much of a confidence in this regard, but I'm open to ideas and I'm open to um, ways of how I could express myself, I guess. As well as at the same time with art in general, as it is. It's something that I might leave behind. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a politician, I don't have any particular like great skills that could impact humanity or society at large. I'm not special in any shape or form. I don't have anything to particularly be proud of or brag about. I don't have any particular achievements under my belt. But at least I can leave something behind me when I'm gone. I can leave at least some a mark at least of some sorts that I actually existed. And every time I create something, or for that matter, any person who creates anything, any art, like in this world, for example, that I'm in currently, every art piece, every work, every piece of music, every piece of movie, every 3D model people create, I think personally, it adds value to the world. I mean, no, and I don't mean virtual world or anything. I mean the actual world as it is. It adds value to the universe, adds value to the human condition. The world becomes more rich with pretty, beautiful things. And that's what I kind of value, creating beautiful, pretty things. Not everything needs to be functional, not everything needs to be pragmatic or utilitarian. I want I want to see pretty good, pretty nice things that people create, especially if they have certain meaning hidden behind them. A message, a little piece of the artist's soul, so to speak. And this is what I want to do as well. Every time when I will be making something, or if I will be trying to making something, I want to add a little bit of piece of myself, leaving something behind me. So this is kind of a short form of a story of my path as an artist, I suppose. It may not be good, but what I do compared to others who did it for years with intensive training and exercises and drawings and not a professional like others. But I do like the craft. I draw because I like it. I don't have to measure up myself to others. I just want to make people happy with my art and my self art as well. And that's how I think other people should also view it. So, yeah, for now, I will bid you all a good day. And I'll see you in my next vlog. Bye.